So if you look at this, just an absolutely beautiful, beautiful rifle. Hello there, folks, and welcome back to Bullets for Bucks. My name's Stephen Bresnaw, and today I have something super exciting to show you. That's right, we have the brand new Mark V Backcountry 2.0 carbon rifle right here. Now, this comes in the Mark V Backcountry 2.0 carbon, or the carbon TI. TI standing for titanium, and that means it has a titanium action. This one, however, is not the TI. This is just a regular steel receiver. Now, this is designed and developed to be an ultralight backcountry hunting rifle suitable for your high country, goat, sheep, and elk hunts, essentially. It features the Peak 44 Blacktooth hand-laid carbon fiber stock that is just absolutely beautiful. And the stock itself, if you can see here, has a mixture of the regular carbon fiber mixed with splatters of two different colors of Cerakote, which just really accents it beautifully and nicely. Also, it features the 3D Hex 2.0 recoil pad, or second generation recoil pad. These are advertised as being 3D printed, and as you can see here, it has these basically hexagonal holes all through this rubberized recoil pad, and these are supposed to basically collapse in sequence to mitigate felt recoil and be ultralight at the same time. Also, it features, of course, the Mark V famous action with the 54-degree bolt throw, and it features, of course, the Trigger Tech trigger that is first stage and has zero perceivable creep. It features a 24-inch BSF carbon-wrapped barrel. Now, the BSF barrels are basically a pencil-thin shank barrel that is fluted, and then it has a sheath of wrapped carbon fiber around it. There's a lot of debate and argument over which carbon-wrapped barrels or carbon barrels are the best. BSF totes some really good accuracy. In fact, Weatherby has done testing, and their most accurate testing to date has come from a BSF carbon-wrapped barrel, where it was a 3-shot group, I believe that was 0.06 inches, if I'm correct there. And, well, that is amazing. Let's just say that on $600 rifles with factory ammunition, I've posted many groups that probably would classify in that precision or accuracy class. However, this is an absolute beautiful rifle, just gorgeous. And the weight on this is advertised as 5 pounds 9 ounces in the 6.5 Weatherby RPM cartridge offering. This one weighed in on my scale at 5 pounds 10 ounces, but that could be because it features the titanium ST AccuBrake here at the end. It does come with a thread protector or the AccuBrake. It features a 24-inch barrel in that 6.5 RPM offering with a number 4 contour. It has an action overall barrel length of 26 inches, and I believe that's with the muzzle brake. On it, without it, it's a 24-inch barrel. The twist on this is 1 in 8, or 1 twist in 8 inches, and it has a mag capacity of 4+1. The length of pull on this beautiful stock is 13.5 inches, and the drop comb is 0.625 inches. The drop at the heel is 0.330 inches, excuse me. So, this comes in pretty much all their most popular Weatherby cartridge offerings, as well as 6.5 Creedmoor. Things to notice. Now let's dive in deep and see what I have to say about this rifle. Well, first of all, the hexagonal recoil pad, or the 3D Hex recoil pad. The first generation had issues where if you stored this rifle on its I guess you could say heel end, it would collapse and deform and permanently deform the recoil pad over time. And that was a significant issue. To mitigate that, on the new version, they have basically thickened up the edges and the rim around the hexagonal holes. And I believe they've probably used a little bit heavier duty rubber as well. It's very stiff, but it does have some flex to it. It'll be interesting to see how that feels in the field, and we will have follow-up videos on that coming up. One thing I really liked was the comb on this stock. It has a really nice feel to it, feels really good in the hands, and I noticed that it has a pretty good cheek like rest naturally on it. You might not have to put a cheek riser on this or a pad if you didn't want to, because it comes up pretty high. Another thing I noticed is it has this sharp cut right here where your hand sits, and that feels really good in the hand. It allows you to not be offset with your palm. Also, this has a really nice palm swell. It's not so big that it's like a bench rest rifle, but it is big enough to where it gives you a little bit more to grab onto and feel comfortable with in the field. So really pleased with the stock design as well as the eye-pleasingness of it. It comes forward at the end here in a pretty, traditional cut, really. Reminiscent of, I feel like, a Model 70 Winchester. It's narrow enough at the fore end that you can comfortably offhand shoot this, or shoot it standing, I should say, or you could use it on a rest, as it's relatively flat, or actually pretty much completely flat on the bottom. It's not really rounded off on the bottom, so it's still good on a bag rest. It does feature two traditional sling swivel studs. I would like to see this offered with a second sling swivel stud in case you wanted to have a bipod on it, but being it's designed as an ultralight hunting rifle, that's not really a surprise. I really would encourage them, though, to, instead of using these traditional studs, put QD mounts in it, put QD sling cups in it, much like a Bergara does now on a lot of their rifles. I think that would be a really nice added touch, and I don't think, most people are going to those QD sling mounts, not these traditional studs. The barrel looks absolutely flawless. The fit and finish on this is absolutely superb, and it should be at this price class. That is except for, I did notice right here, and hopefully this camera can focus, there's a tiny little bit of flaking on the Cerakote around this stud. So there's a little tiny bit of flaking there, but apart from that, really beautiful stock. The Cerakote on the titanium brake is very high quality, no blemishes. The Cerakote on the receiver and action is very, very nice, as well, as you can see right here. It has a very nice deeply spiral fluted bolt that will reduce weight, as well as a skeletonized bolt knob that is removable, so you can switch that out. Also, it comes, like I said, Cerakoted, so this is going to be a very weatherproof rifle. It's not going to rust easy or corrode or anything like that. Of course, it has your 2-position safety. Now, I'll go ahead and double check this, but I already checked it off film to make sure it is safe and secure and unloaded. Let's go ahead and put that safety on, and as you can see, it also locks the bolt handle in place, and it keeps you from firing the rifle. I really like safeties that lock the bolt handle in place, because if you were bushwhacking through some really rough stuff and this got caught and you had a round, or maybe didn't even have a round in here, your bolt could slide open, getting debris into the receiver in action, but also it could you could lose a round that way, even though I don't really usually hike through thick stuff with a round chamber unless I'm going after a wounded bear. Of course, like I said, it has the 54-degree bolt throw, which is absolutely superb. It does have a little bit of a secondary catch, if you will. Let me scoot in a little closer to the camera so you can kind of see that. You lift it up, and then it kind of has another little push. The bolt is smooth, and it feels very refined. It has very little slop in it, less slop than I would say a Tikka. However, because it is Cerakoted, and because this rifle hasn't been broken in, I will say this, it doesn't slide as smoothly as a Tikka or as easily as a Tikka. I imagine that will change with break-in, but I think part of that in part is, not only because the Cerakote, but these really deep spiral fluting on the bolt to shed weight. Because I know when I've looked at some of their titanium actions or some of their other models, they are extremely smooth even out of the box, and they slide really back. They've passed the glide test. Let's see the glide test on this with the floor plate in. It really doesn't pass the glide test, but not a huge issue. One thing to note is when you release the floor plate on this rifle, you actually push in on this little button right here in the trigger guard, and it releases that floor plate. Now let's see if it passes the glide test So if I kind of open it a little bit, it wants to, but it still doesn't really pass it in my opinion. Would you rather have it glide super smooth and have some extra slop out of the box, or have it take a little break-in period but have tighter tolerances? That's kind of up to you. Now, let's talk about some more of the components on this rifle. It is absolutely awesome. It features a actual high-quality steel receiver that is CNC machined. It's not made out of bar stock. It has a real metal, oh my goodness, I'm forgetting the word for this, but bolt shroud is actually real metal. The latch for the safety is real metal. Basically, this thing doesn't have any plastic parts on it that I can find, except for the follower in the internal magazine. The spring is high quality metal. The floor plate is Cerakoted inside and out, which is nice. But I would like to see a metal follower in here, but maybe they did that to shed weight. I would like to see maybe that be titanium. It does have, let's go ahead and remove the bolt. And if I can remember correctly, to remove the bolt on a Weatherby, you push in the trigger as you pull back on the bolt. Now, as you can see, this bolt does have a safety indicator red dot on the right side of it. Very heavy, beautiful spiral fluting. Hopefully that can focus there. Has portholes along the sides in case you have a case head failure. And this one happens to be the 6-lug action. You can get, of course, Mark V's with the 9-lug action. But tons and tons of lugs. Has a really nice Seiko style extractor and a nice heavy duty plunger ejector there in the head. Of course, Weatherby rifles are available in different action sizes depending on the caliber. Now, just kind of taking initial impressions of this rifle. Absolutely pretty Cerakote job. Gorgeous hand-laid carbon fiber. It has a really nice large trigger that is curved. It's a curved trigger blade, but it's very wide, so it's designed for, you know, that backcountry hunting or even use with maybe gloves on. Now, this trigger is made by Trigger Tech and it is adjustable. So let's go ahead and adjust that. It's easily adjustable. You simply use an Allen head wrench or key right here on the inside to adjust it. And I'm kind of curious because I've heard differing stories. I've heard that they can adjust as low as 1.5 pounds from the factory, and then I've heard they can't adjust that low. So let's see if I can find an Allen key to adjust this bad boy. Hopefully I can find one without too much delay here, guys. So I did find an Allen key that fits that just right. Let's put the bolt back in. And to put the bolt back in, you don't have to actually push in the trigger. Now, one time, make sure it's safe again. Pull that trigger. Wow. Literally no creep and almost no perceivable over travel. One of the best triggers I've ever felt by a production rifle. Actually, really any rifle. It's a little heavy. I'm guessing probably around that 2.5 pound range. So let's take the trigger gauge and check it out here. We got 3.5 pounds. So a little heavier than I thought. And I believe you can turn this counterclockwise. Okay, there's just over 2 pounds. See how low we can get this bad boy. Still just over 2 pounds. Kind of a tedious job here to get this just where I want it. I want to see how low this goes so I can tell you how low mine at least goes. From the factory here. It's about 2¼ pounds right there. Of course, do not do any trigger modifications, as it could cause negligent discharge or safety issues. Follow the specifications and guidelines from the company. That's at 2 pounds, so we got it down to 2. All right, so now that we've kind of gone over a lot of the basics, let's take this barreled action out of the stock and show you what this stock looks like inside, its quality, its bedding system, and what I think of it. Also, nice thing to note is it has some awesome backcountry graphics on the floor plate right here, and this is a 4+1 capacity, by the way. One thing I don't like about the Weatherby Mark V's is that they use these flat head screws, action screws. Hate that. I think they might almost do it as a deterrent to you taking it out yourself, or so that they know if you've taken it out, because it's really hard not to mar up and mess up a screw that's a flathead, especially an action screw. So maybe they do that so they know if you've taken it out of the stock. It's kind of a secret way for them to tell. I don't know, but very much would like to see them go away from the flathead and go with, you know, a Torx or a Allen head screw. Let's go ahead and remove this from the stock right here. All right, folks, so here is your floor plate. What I really stood out is that this is a all high quality metal floor plate, and it also has the screws themselves appear to be Cerakoted. The full length and the bottom of the floor plate is Cerakoted as well. So really nice, thorough floor plating job there. One thing Weatherby really excels at is their quality control. Really nice box magazine right here. High quality metal. Then we remove the barreled action from this Peak 44 carbon fiber stock. And oh my gosh, this thing is insanely light. Holy smokes. It's like a feather. Now let's take a look on the inside here. It looks like it's been kind of hollowed out to shed weight. Then you come forward to the recoil lug recess area, and that is spot bedded. I would have liked to see this entire thing bedded at this price point, the entire area or action, receiver I should say, bedded, but they might have reasons why it's not worth it to do that, or it works better to do this, that they've found through testing. I don't know, but it looks like epoxy spot bedded in the recoil lug area. Then coming back here, you can see has very nice inlay job, very clean. You don't see like pieces of carbon fiber sticking out where they're not supposed to, or blemishes. Very nice, high quality stock right there. And it does appear that there is metal pillar bedding. I could be wrong, but it does look like there's metal pillar bedding embedded in the carbon fiber as well. Then coming forward to the receiver right here, of course, let's swing this around. We have the Trigger Tech trigger. Very nice, high quality trigger. It has Weatherby etched in the side of it, the Mark V. This is the Trigger Tech field trigger. And it says adjustable 2.5 to 5 pounds. And like I said, I got this down to about 2 or 2¼ pounds. One thing I really like about the Mark V Weatherbys is that it has this very nice heavy duty all one piece receiver that's made out of CNC machined steel. And it has this insanely beefy recoil lug, just insanely beefy recoil lug. Another thing that I really like is the receiver screw goes right down the middle of that recoil lug, and that really holds it firmly in place in the right spot. Similar to a Howa rifle or a Weatherby Vanguard rifle. Another thing that's cool, of course, from being from Wyoming, is that the serial number on this is YO. And then the number, which is very nice. So if you look at this, just an absolutely beautiful rifle, and just a beautiful engraving job or stamping job with the Weatherby logo. And then you can just see it's Cerakoted all the way underneath and every nook and cranny, so it's going to be totally weatherproof. This rifle really does impress me. It's just a beautiful, beautiful ultralight rifle coming in at 5 pounds, 10 ounces in the 6.5 Weatherby RPM or rebated Magnum or precision Magnum cartridge, which is a pretty large cartridge actually. So to come in at that light of weight in that offering is just absolutely superb. Of course, it's made in Sheridan, Wyoming. They were originally made in California and designed and developed in California, but they moved to the more pro-Second Amendment state of Wyoming. So made in the USA. All the components on this and all the construction happens in the United States, to my knowledge. The receiver is made by ATEK, A-T-E-K, in Minnesota. The trigger made by Trigger Tech, of course. The barrel action barrel made by BSF, and the stock made by Peak 44. So basically just an all-American, made in America, providing American jobs rifle. Highly recommend you go ahead and check out the Weatherby Mark V Backcountry 2.0 if you're looking for an ultra lightweight, supreme, and very well made luxury rifle.